Hi, parents. Good afternoon. Welcome to our ceremony for Public Speaking and Debate 101. The awards and showcase will begin shortly. Thank you for all of your support this week. We really appreciate it. Coach Dan and I worked really hard with the students, and they worked really hard as well to prepare an awesome presentation for all of you. I hope you can all sit back and definitely enjoy the hard work that your children have put into this. The award ceremony will begin.
All right, so here we are. This is our class for Debate and Public Speaking 101, as Coach Haley said. This is Coach Dan, and similar to what Coach Haley said, the two of us could not be more proud of the work that your students put in this week. Not only learning the fundamentals of public speaking, especially as you know, in these very challenging times with our virtual platform, it can be difficult to transfer the elements of public speaking into a virtual setting when we're not in the same room as each other. But I think that these 6 students did really just a fantastic job of grasping the fundamentals of public speaking on a virtual platform, taking the different lessons into account, and working especially hard to create a great persuasive speech. So they developed 4-minute persuasive speeches on the same topic. We'll talk about that topic in a little bit. And they finalized things, basically this morning. They gave their final presentations for us before lunch, and you're going to hear this final product in a little bit. So they worked very hard over the course of the week. We had an action-packed week with a lot of great activities, and they really rose to the challenge. They rose to the occasion and just did a kick-butt job throughout the week. So yeah, Coach Haley and I are very proud of them and what they've accomplished. Without further ado, we're going to introduce our spectacular 6, we'll call it. So this young man, well, he and I bonded right away because our shared love of Philadelphia sports. So definitely picked a good day to take his picture. Worked really hard throughout the week. Really good energy, really good enthusiasm. Great participator, and yeah, just really applied himself throughout the week. And we saw a great amount of accomplishment from him. Really took our suggestions into account, our feedback into account, and really improved in the speaking and researching components of the course, and we're very proud of him. So great job, Jay DeBrawl.
Yes, I agree. Jay was super enthusiastic, and he really did take our feedback into account, and he's ready. He's ready for the next level. We can tell that he really wanted this, and that's what helped him become so successful. Not only here, but I'm pretty sure he would apply these skills to class and to his other debate classes as well.
This young lady kicked butt throughout the week. Very proud of her. She really applied herself from the very beginning, asked really great questions, very comfortable, smooth speaking style. Really, you can see she's full of confidence, full of questions, always looking for feedback and ways to improve. So I think she really applied herself very well, and definitely excited to see what she has to offer in the future as her hopefully her debate career develops. So excellent job, Ocean Faze Irfan.
Yes, I agree. Ocean was super involved, and she was able to participate right in the first day. And we knew that all her efforts and enthusiasm will come into play, and we're definitely excited. Ocean did tell us she will come back for more debate. We hope that's the case because we would love to see her progress, not only with capital, but with everything she's able to apply it for.
Speaking of somebody who has great energy, this kid was he was the life of the party, we'll call it. He was really enthusiastic throughout the week. You could see there were times, when he was working independently, he'd be, snapping his fingers, and it looked like he was kind of singing and doing little dance moves. So he definitely kept the energy up, but did a great job of remaining focused throughout the week. So really great improvement from him as well. Really applied himself. Another one with really good, really confident, smooth speaking style. I would not be surprised if there was a future career in politics from this young man, because he's got a really infectious speaking style, a lot of charisma, and a lot of good vibes throughout the week. So great job, Young Robert Kotke.
Yes, I agree. Also, he had a lot of unique evidence that we haven't seen before, especially Coach Dan, who has been doing this for a few weeks. So we definitely appreciate your challenge at looking at different evidence and really digging deeper into your case, taking everything we had, all the feedback, and really applying it. You did awesome this week. Thank you so much.
All right, this young woman really, I was so impressed with her. You could see as the week progressed, I could literally see her grow in confidence, and every time she spoke, you could see that confidence building. So at the beginning of the week, she was a little quiet, very, willing to participate, but maybe not the first to volunteer for the activities. But you could see as she went through the week and got more comfortable, her speaking style really, she really took it to the next level, really applied herself, very creative, a musician, which is awesome. And she really just did a great job of growing in confidence, and she put together a really great speech. And yeah, definitely proud of her as well. Isabel Lee.
Yes, Isabel, we love to see your progress, especially as Coach Dan said from day one. Thank you for enthusiasm with all the games that we played and with the different team building activities. She was very analytical and she was quick to remember what we shared about ourselves and our interests in order for her to apply that at the different games we had. So Isabel, I love how you took what we said and really applied it to your speech and condensed it from 3 points to 2 points to make it even that much stronger. So awesome job, Isabel. We are also proud of you as well.
All right, this guy too really worked extremely hard. Always had great questions to ask. You could tell he wanted feedback. He wanted to know how to improve. He wanted to know what he could do to get better. And he just had, you could see he had like a real eagerness, a hunger to improve and to really develop as a speaker and as a new debater. So again, I think there's so much potential for this young man moving forward. Great speaking style. You can tell his enthusiasm really came through, and you can tell he really applied himself throughout the week. So very proud of him as well. Andrew Liu.
Yes, Andrew, you made this week definitely a pleasure. Similar to Ocean, both of you were always willing to participate and you had fire under you. We definitely appreciate you were very solution focused within your evidence and you worked extremely hard and we're super proud and let's see where you go because we know that debate is definitely your strength.
All right, and last but certainly not least, this guy really stepped up the last few days. Another one who kind of started off a little quiet, a little shy as we began the week, began the process, but you could see, the more he applied himself, you could see the confidence grow, and just every time he spoke, it got smoother and smoother. And I was very impressed with his performance this morning. He really stepped up and did a great job. So really just a vast amount of improvement from start to finish. So great job, Dylan. So
Dylan, we definitely appreciate your progress. We love to see students grow, especially with just 1 week of capital debate. It's very inspiring as well. And just like we said with all the other students, we definitely wish you luck and we wish that you all flourish.
definitely. All right, so that's our class. They did a great job, and you're going to hear their speeches in just a few moments. So before we do that, we are definitely interested in hearing feedback, not only from the students, but also from the parents, because especially with the ongoing pandemic and the uncertainty that surrounds what our programs are going to look like, Capital's programs are going to look like, moving forward as we go into the school year and into next summer. We definitely want to hear your voice and hear your feedback about the things that you guys enjoyed about the virtual experience, the online camp, and also things, of course, that we can do better and work on to give you guys the best experience possible. So there are 2 links there. Obviously, the top one will be for the parents. The bottom one would be for the students. So please, if you get the survey only takes a few minutes. So if you get some time over the weekend or some point in the near future, if you could drop your thoughts on the survey and let us know what you thought, and let us know what we can do to make these virtual programs as beneficial to you guys as possible. So definitely any and all feedback is appreciated. So if you would like to participate or conduct the survey, the links are there for you guys to participate. It would mean a lot to hear your feedback, and especially with everything that's going on right now.
I agree. And Capital Debate really takes these surveys seriously. They analyze it to make improvements, which they have done during the pandemic, as Coach Dan said. And also, we're looking forward to having more leagues and more camps in the fall. So we definitely would love to hear your improvement and what we can do better.
All right, so I know some of you guys said that you had already signed up or will be signing up for Debate 201 next week. There is a special offer if you guys have not yet signed up for 201, but you would like to, or one of the other programs. There is a coupon code for today, Next Class 2020, for $50 off your next camp. It's a pretty good deal. We do offer a wide range of programs, and they run on a week-to-week basis depending on the number of signups that they get. So some of these programs do not run every week, but if there are signups, then they will get people to run them on a week-to-week basis. So there are business communication camps, which are kind of like they do like Shark Tank style presentations, pitching a model business, which sounds pretty cool. Legal communication, for those of you who are maybe interested in a career in law or politics in the future, which I think some of you could certainly, I could see that for sure. Interpersonal communication, and then finally STEM communication. So if you're interested in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, there are STEM programs for you guys to work on your public speaking in a career related to one of those fields. And then, of course, we have the debate programs. We offer 3 additional courses in addition to Debate and Public Speaking 101. So in Debate 201, we introduce the students to the modified debate format that we are running this summer. So they take their opening speeches, their persuasive speeches that they created this week, and we also introduce them to the other speeches involved in debate, the refutation speech and the closing argument. And then we also introduce them to everyone's favorite part of debate, the cross-examination, where they actually question opponents, the other students in the class, and answer questions that they are asked. We run a few debate rounds at the end of the week, and then that gets them ready for Debate 301 and 401, which are very heavily centered around tournaments. The second half of the week is a round robin tournament in Debate 301 and 401, where they run about 6 or 7 rounds, and then we have a final, and we crown a winner for each class. So if you guys are interested in the competitive side of debate, there are plenty of opportunities for you guys to continue with that process as the summer begins to wind down. We also offer the Club League, which is year-round. This is something that's very exciting. I've been a coach in the Club League for 4 years now, and it is a great opportunity to practice your debate skills year-round. So sort of similar to this setup. The students are given a topic at the beginning of each session. They prepare cases over the course of several weeks. We meet once a week for class for about an hour. Typically, the classes have been on Wednesday evenings, but for this fall, we are expanding and thinking about offering classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. So 3 nights a week you can choose from, depending on your schedule. And we will be offering virtual tournaments. I think it's once a month, so every 4 or 5 weeks we'll have a virtual tournament for you guys. So again, if you guys are interested in the competitive side of debate, you guys have learned some of the fundamentals of public speaking and creating a persuasive argument. So that will definitely help you apply yourself in the Club League. Club is awesome. It's a great opportunity to work with kids year round. Debate is a skill. It's like any hobby or activity. It's something that needs to be nourished and needs to be worked on in order to improve. And the club league is a great opportunity to do that. So if you guys are interested in club and parents, please feel free to email me at daustin@capitaldebate.com. You can email me directly, and I can provide you any and all information on the club league. It is something that is a great time for the kids, and we are getting lots and lots of signups for club starting this fall because of the ongoing pandemic. We're looking for ways to expand our virtual options, and the club league is one thing that I think is really going to benefit from that because it was already mostly virtual. So we're definitely going to look to expand on it and make it the best possible experience. So yeah, please feel free to email me directly with questions about club. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. And you can also email the HQ, the office, team@capitaldebate.com, and then the phone number, the 800 number, is also there at the bottom. All right. And of course, even if this is the last time we see you guys for the summer, we want you guys to keep in touch for sure. So there's nothing I enjoy more really than when camp is over and the kids go back to school. Every once in a while I'll get an email from a kid that I worked with at camp, and they'll say, Coach Dan or Coach Austin, I just did a great presentation in my science class. Or you know what, I joined my school debate team because I enjoyed camp so much. There's nothing better than hearing about you guys applying the skills that you learned in this setting to other things that you have going on in your life. So if you're able to take some of the skills and techniques and lessons that we worked with you guys on in this setting this past week and applied it in other aspects of your life in school or other hobbies or activities, I would love to. I know Coach Haley and I would love to hear about those accomplishments and what you guys have been able to accomplish. So you can certainly get in contact with the corporate office and let them know, but you could also contact us directly and let us know, because that would make my day if you guys were able to take these skills and hopefully get something out of them. That would be awesome. So yeah, keep in touch. Let us know how you're doing. Hopefully we'll be working with some of you guys next week. But if not, we definitely hope that you guys keep working on these skills and keep doing the best you possibly can, because we saw the improvement over the course of the week. There's the potential is limitless for you guys. You guys have a lot of potential and a lot of heart and a lot of skill, and we're looking forward to seeing what else you're able to accomplish moving forward.
And as beginners, you were all determined. So we were so excited. We were just like, all right, let's let Friday happen already, so that way all of the parents could see such of the hard work. And I agree. I'm pretty sure that you all learned a lot and are able to transfer these skills to your classes and to your life. And definitely keep in touch with them or with us. It's been a pleasure. All right, the showcase will now begin. We just wanted to give you a little bit about a background for it. We have both pro and con, so we wanted to give you a background of where your children are with it. So the topic is government regulations on social media companies do more good than harm. So the pro case, we have Andrew, Dylan, and Bayoung, also known as Robert, who would try to defend this. And then for the con case, government regulations on social media companies do more harm than good, we have Isabel, Ocean, and Jay. So we hope that the parents are ready. Thank you so much for trusting Capital Debate and for giving us your time. And I hope you are ready for amazing presentations.
All right, so we're going to start with our first pro speaker, and that is Andrew. Hold on, bud. I think you're muted.
Oopsie.
All right.
Yeah. Could you imagine a world where anyone could freely stream violence, steal your information, or even bully and shame people for no reason? Well, you don't need to imagine that because right now social media websites aren't regulating themselves without the help of the government sufficiently. As a result, many people are getting away with doing those aforementioned actions. So, government regulation will do more good than harm because social media sites have shown that they can't sufficiently regulate objectionable content, cyberbullying, or privacy by themselves without the help of the government. The first reason why social media sites can't regulate themselves is because objectionable content has been on many platforms without any punishment. According to MS Naya from the Independent UK, an example of this was when a gunman streamed an attack that killed 50 people. The problem was that the social media site did not take this violent post down, and in turn, 1.5 million people copied this post and shared it with their friends. This is one instance where companies couldn't regulate themselves, and as a result, illegal, dangerous, and violent posts were shared. However, a great solution to this would be government regulation. A great example of this can be found in Germany. According to the reality check team at the BBC, social media companies in Germany will have to take down illegal posts within 24 hours and give 6 months updates every single year in order to not receive heavy fines. An example of this was when Facebook was fined for 2 million euros because they had forgot to give their 6-month update. However, this isn't the only reason why social media companies haven't regulated themselves. The second reason why social media companies can't regulate themselves without the government is because they have not done enough to stop cyberbullying. Cyberbullying has been a major problem, and based on how many people are being cyberbullied, you can see that these companies aren't doing enough. For example, in a 2018 study by Pew Research, they found that 59% of teens in the United States have been cyberbullied at least once in their lives. Based on how many people are being cyberbullied, you may think that these companies will have tight regulations in order to curb this bullying trend. However, Facebook doesn't even take down bullying posts themselves and instead rely on self-reporting. On the other hand, if the government were to help Facebook, then they could find bullies much faster without self-reporting and even add heavy fines on serious bullies. Lastly, this is extremely important because cyberbullying has proven to be a very dangerous action. An example of this was when German psychiatrists claimed that cyberbullying has, quote, shown to be associated with suicide ideation and behavior. The final reason why media companies can't sufficiently regulate themselves is because they can't protect the user's privacy. And a huge example of this was in 2018 when Cambridge Analytica and Facebook had a huge fiasco over privacy. The simplified version of what happened was that Cambridge Analytica paid 300,000 people to get their info. However, due to an error on Facebook's end, they were able to get the info of the 300,000 people plus the friends of those 300,000 people on Facebook. So in the end, they got the information of 78 million people without their consent. This is super controversial because first of all, they were paying people to get their information for an unknown reason. But second of all, they violated the 78 million people's Fourth Amendment right to privacy because they didn't get to say where their privacy was going and they didn't get to protect their privacy. It was just taken from them. On the other side, if the government had helped, then Facebook wouldn't have had this error because it would have been caught by the government and millions of people wouldn't have had their privacy breached. In conclusion, having the government step in to help regulate social media companies would do more good than harm because social media companies have proven that they can't sufficiently regulate objectionable content, cyberbullying, or their users' privacy on their own. As a result, if we work together to get the government to help regulate social media, the chances of you ever seeing anyone stream violence, steal your info, or bully someone will be significantly lower.
All right, great job, Andrew. Good stuff. All right, we're going to turn it over to our first con speaker, and that is Ocean.
The government should not regulate social media. Two important reasons why the government shouldn't regulate social media is, first, social media is considered modern press. Second, the government has the power. If the government has the power, they can steer social media and shape free speech. The freedom of speech and press are protected by the First Amendment. Our country values free speech and recognizes free speech helps people make better decisions. Also, the people benefit by being able to express their views. If our government would suddenly decide to regulate social media, they'll be taking away our freedom, keeping us from knowledge to decide for ourselves. And no one wants to be told what to think. Social media networking sites have become the modern day equivalent to traditional public forums like gatherings in public parks and streets, as quoted by Justice Anthony Kennedy in an article written by the American Bar Association. Did you know 91% of students get their news and info off of social media? 78% of researchers get their collect data off of social media. In general, 2/3 of Americans use social media platforms to share some form of info. This strongly suggests that social media platforms are the new speech of this digital age. Therefore, social media is protected by the law, the First Amendment. This leads into my second point. If the government has the power to regulate social media, then they can control and limit our freedom of speech and press. And the USA has the freest press in the world. Regulations could change this liberty, and similar to other countries known to censor free speech and press. For example, Russia, China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Myanmar. Over the years, these countries have faced scrutiny and criticism by their own people for varying degrees of oppression. Social media has allowed the world to share and to open up to free speech. With regulations, we would not know about countries' governments swaying elections, data surveillances, breaches in privacy, and human rights violations. Even here in the US, we faced our own recent challenges with social media. For example, in recent headlines, Facebook was implicated with charges based on data impacting our last election. But it does not mean we should let our government regulate it in fear. Most importantly, our founding fathers believed in people's ability to decide, and they made laws to protect our freedom of speech and press, knowing very well we'd be informed. So choose to protect your First Amendment and your freedom of press and today's social media. And don't let the government regulate you.
All right. Awesome job, Ocean. Thank you. All right, we're going to turn it over to our second pro speaker, which is Robert.
People are dying because of social media sites' failure. In 2019, there were around 47,000 suicides, thousands of which were caused by social media. Today, I'm here to inform you about the dangers of social media and how the wrong post can lead to violence than has before. However, today's social media sites haven't really done anything about it. What to do? Let's give the government a try. Right now, I'll prove to you that there is something going wrong, but first I just need to establish one thing. Our dependency on social media is increasing because of COVID-19, so if we don't do something soon, the numbers will rise. All right, now let's talk about cyberbullying, disinformation, and hate crimes. We'll start off with cyberbullying. Cyberbullying can actually cause a victim to be violent towards others, sometimes in the form of school shootings. And it definitely isn't gone. In fact, cases have almost doubled since 2007. Overall, social media is a fairly stressful experience for some as they feel a need to have every one of their posts be as perfect as those around them, and failure to do so can have very negative effects. Now, let's talk a little about disinformation and how, especially these days, it can lead to the deterioration of medical safety for those with COVID-19. Recent news has shown that Instagram flagged Madonna for posting about how a vaccine for COVID-19 has already been created, and while some may say that this is a good thing, the truth is that it is not enough. The damage is done, and social media isn't exercising the right kind of punishment on these people. Now, let's move on. Today's internet has allowed white supremacists to plan hate crimes, for example, the Charlottesville incident. People use racist and hateful posts to spread the word about the protests, which soon turned violent. And I'd like to remind you that this is all happening under a site-regulated social media. All right, so we've established that there's something wrong, but how do we make it right? To put it more simply, what will government regulations do? Well, a government-regulated social media doesn't necessarily mean censorship. It simply means that these sites are not doing well, and with the and with the and with each of these sites working together, as they will be under the same body, it will be significantly easier to stop disinformation, cyberbullying, and hate crimes. Anyway, most of these sites have had their chance, and the results show failure. Still, I'd like to show you something. Norway has already passed laws that allow the government to take control of social media when press freedom and media plurality are attacked. In the US, around 20% of the population is cyberbullied, and in Norway, it is reportedly around 1%. And not only does it show that doing this works, it shows that a government-regulated social media doesn't explicitly mean intentional censorship. Now take a look at this. India has no regulation, and it has the highest cyberbullying rates in the world. And let's take a look at Brazil, who use laws to control social media, and their cyberbullying rates are especially high, proving that it is better for hands-on regulation rather than using the middleman that are each of the site's regulators. And the same goes for Belgium, Sweden, and many more. So to sum it all up, people are dying under a site-regulated social media, and therefore, in hopes of change, we should allow the government to try fixing this hands-on. So today, I'd like you to consider exactly what the government is, and regardless of what others tell you, figure it out for yourself. People are always painting a picture of what the government will do, but what you need to know is that right now, it just isn't working. We can all agree that there's a problem, and we can all agree that it's rather urgent, and now I've offered a solution.
All right, great job, Robert. I'm going to turn it over to our next con speaker, and that is Jay.
Okay. Imagine a world where the government imposes their laws to undermine the human right of the First Amendment. Well, that's what they're trying to do when they regulate social media. It will cause much, much more harm than good. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube will be discussed in this speech. A lot of people rely on social media, and they're turning to the celebrities for information and news. But there is some fake news, and that's why we need to regulate social media. I just don't think the government should. I think the platforms should self-regulate themselves. Because one, self-regulating websites are much better. And two, if the government regulates social media, it breaks one of the laws in the very First Amendment. Okay, to begin, my first point is self-regulation is much better. CNN reported on an article saying that Donald Trump Jr. got banned from Twitter for 12 hours because he posted a fake news video saying masks are unnecessary. Even though it was only a temporary ban for 12 hours, it created a chain of events, getting him banned on YouTube and Facebook as well. Another instance is a well-known singer named Madonna. She said there was a vaccine for COVID-19, but the government isn't showing it, which obviously isn't true. And Facebook blurred the video out and sent the viewer to a right outlet for good information. And all of that stuff happened in the last week, and they cracked down within hours. So that's good. And if the government were regulating it, I don't think they would have thought of stopping those videos, because I'm not saying they would, but they might have been scared of banning the president's son and also a very high profile singer. And those were only temporary bans, but Twitter and those platforms can also permanently ban people, as shown as Jack Berkman got banned because he said that the White House was trying to make 32 states have a food shortage in 2 weeks back in March, which is obviously not true, and that shows that they've been doing this all the way since March. And their system is obviously working because they have cracked down on more than 1 million bad accounts. Now, to my second claim, and my last one, it breaks a law in the First Amendment if they regulate social media. The First Amendment prohibits exactly this type of control over speech from the government. And free speech, that might be unclear what it actually means. It means you're allowed to talk anything and not be scared of the government restricting what you say. And an example is that Instagram, it encourages protests and encourages speech. And an example is that in the 2020 primaries, Elizabeth Warren, the senator, was on an Instagram Live making a school take aware of gun violence and also Black Lives Matter. So that shows that Instagram and the other platforms are bringing unity from everyone worldwide. And in conclusion, it's not up to the elected representatives, it's up to us and the platforms. So are we going to let them take our privacy away and our freedom of speech? No. That's why I think you should go for the con side, saying that the government should not regulate social media, because one, it will break a law in the First Amendment, and two, self-regulating websites are much better. Thank you.
All right, good stuff, Jay. We're going to move to our final pro speaker. All right, and that is Dylan.
Huh. Let's do this. Many social media companies cannot regulate their social media problems, say fake news and cyberbullying themselves, because they don't have enough safety measures. And I think the government should step in and help. Not only that, but the government also still allows the First Amendment, the freedom of speech and press, to go on. These are some reasons why I think government regulation does more good than harm. First reason, crisis news should spread quickly, and it could be very accurate. That is very good. If the government is able to regulate social media, then this will happen. People will be prepared for a crisis, and the crisis will run more smoothly, and there will be less casualties. Research conducted by the DHH shows that Americans are 3 times more likely to be safe from a crisis if the government is regulating social media. Fake news is always spreading. That's another reason that government regulation is important. According to BBC, China has its fake news reduced by 50% by the time the coronavirus came along. It was because the government was regulating social media well. That is the second reason why I think government regulation of social media is beneficial. Third reason is 30 million people are cyberbullied every year. To put that in perspective, 1/10 of the population of America is cyberbullied every year. Here, we want the government to help regulate social media, because then cyberbullies can be punished and the text/post can be deleted. A research study conducted in Australia found out if our country had government regulation, we could lessen cyberbullies to 10% or less. That is 90% of all cyberbullies deleted and punished. After all the evidence that I've talked about, government plays one big role, and one of the jobs of the government is to keep the society safe. Those are some reasons why I think government regulation is beneficial.
All right, thank you, Dylan. And last but certainly not least, our final con speaker, Isabel.
Roughly half of Americans in the U.S. are civilly active on social media and events like Black Lives Matter, according to PewResearch.org. If the government regulates social media, what are the chances of having a country where people are not judged for the color of their skin? According to Forbes.com, through Twitter, people were able to get the word out about Black Lives Matter. And on June 6th, 500,000 people turned up for protests all over the nation in over 550 places. And on top of that, there were 8 million tweets about Black Lives Matter. From using platforms like Instagram and Twitter, rallying people to the streets in a pandemic to push for change, people in the United States are able to accomplish so much through social media. Letting the government regulate social media will prevent us from exercising our right to organize and spread protests. The government regulating social media platforms will do more harm than good because these platforms are able to self-regulate and they allow freedom of self-expression. First off, the government regulating social media does more harm than good because social media companies are able to self-regulate on their own. Social media companies such as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter all have strict policies and have banned people when they are not followed. Katie Hopkins was a comedian and writer who had over 1 million followers on Twitter. Shortly after she violated Twitter's no hate abuse policy, she was banned. This also goes to show how Twitter doesn't have biases when it comes to self-regulating. Relating to that, according to PewResearch.org, some people believe the government's motive of keeping information secret is to protect its reputation, rather than to protect the nation's interests. So how can we trust the government to regulate social media companies better than the actual companies? The final point as to why the government shouldn't regulate social media is because teens mainly use social media for self-expression and exploration. The government doesn't have to regulate these things. In self-expression mode, teens felt empowered and excited when they shared important aspects of their identities with others. It is important for teens to be able to find who they are, explore, and connect, according to a Harvard study on adolescent social media use. In addition, according to Forbes.org, the social media generation Gen Z that's using platforms like Instagram and Twitter as exchange points between thoughts and action, bringing people to the streets in the middle of COVID-19 for policy change. This shows that Americans, especially Generation Z, are allowing these platforms as a way to express social injustice without censoring or monitoring it, which shows that without government control, social media is allowing freedom of expression, unity against racial injustice. The civil rights movement doesn't require centralized leadership structures to make waves, since social media was able to encourage protests and equality. To conclude, the government should not regulate these private social media companies. How we fight for what's right and express ourselves with the government controlling us. There would be no way for Black Lives Matter to have gone this far if the government was moderating their every post. Social media companies have various rules and policies that protect us already. To emphasize, the government should not regulate social media because they're already able to self-regulate on their own. These platforms are used for self-expression, and social media outlets have rules and regulations that are constantly monitoring and improving. Our speech will not be limited.
All right, great job, Isabel, and great job, everybody. All right, so we're gonna wrap things up here, but before we do, if we could get everyone to turn their cameras on, so we can say our final goodbyes for the week. You guys did a great job.
I know, Andrew, we'll miss you too.
And it's been a great 4.5 days, and it was great working with you guys, and I know that we would love the opportunity to work with you guys again in the future. All right, so with that being said, have a great rest of your day, have a great weekend, stay safe, stay healthy, and if we don't see you, best of luck with everything in the future with the upcoming school year. And if we do see you again, we'll see you when that happens. All right, so bye, everybody. Great job, great work this week, and enjoy your weekend.
Bye.
No problem, guys. Have an awesome summer. You guys did awesome. Great first experience, and parents, thank you so much again.
I think I'm gonna see you next week.
So bye.
All right.